Hey guys, my name is Hashim Muhammad and welcome to this hack project tutorial. In this video, we'll be building an application that lets my clients as a freelancer communicate with me and my projects efficiently and more clearly. So what is the problem that we're after? So if you can't tell already, I am actually a developer, or at least I run a development agency company. So what happens typically is that when I'm dealing with non-technical clients or non-technical people who are working with me on a project, what happens is when I share the progress with the people, sometimes they don't understand, or sometimes what they do is they mess up the project itself. Let me give you some examples. So in our case, we use tools like Trello or in the cases of, let's say, Git or any of this project management tool. And if the client is really eager to know what's going on with the project, either we have to tell by phone or by meetings. Well, let's say if the project, well, like let's say if the client wants to know what's happening now, and if they want to know, if they want to have total transparency into the project, what happens is that we give access to, let's say, the Trello board, except we don't let them add anything, or sometimes we let them add things to the project so that we know, okay, so this thing is the list of to-dos that we have to do. So that client actually gains the visibility. The problem with this is that these some of the things that we do on Trello are like completely developer focused or internal team focused. Even if it's not a secret or something, at least it's the language that we use internally in our teams are kind of something like they're too technical or sometimes not understandable by the people outside. So what we have to do is we probably have to create a different tool for clients specifically, so that the client can actually look at them and also access like all the the pre-final versions of the product that they're trying to achieve. So I don't know if I'm doing the best possible explanation to this is the problem that we're trying to solve, but this is what it is. Like for me, when I'm trying to communicate with non-technical clients, it's kind of difficult to communicate um, with the existing tools. So I want to create a client to freelancer communication or a project management tool. Okay, so that's the best possible explanation I have. We're going to be using just Google Sheets as our backend. We're going to be using Glide apps to turn our Google Sheets into an application. This can end up in two different applications, or you can make it into one. Again, this is just a bare bones implementation of the problem that I have in hand, but you can go ahead and extend it to do way more than what is shown here, or you can extend it to make it work for your agency or for your freelancing company. So let's go ahead and click on the blank. And again, although I'm from a technical or computer science background, you can make this work for, let's say, if you're in the trade organization or any other industry. You can make this work across different industries. Again, I'm gonna be making according to my use case. However, you can change it, and I'll try to explain why I'm doing so that you can like make a pause there and say, okay, well maybe this is not needed. So you can just like skip that part. I'll probably change a few things here and there. So I'm gonna be calling this as client management. Again, like anybody can use this tool. Although for this sort of project, I'll assume that I'm going to be making this as only for my company. Again, these formatting things are not needed, but just so you guys can see what I'm typing here. So I'm going to have, as far as sheets are concerned, we're going to be needing a couple of things. First thing is we're going to call this project. So this is going to be the index of all the projects that we're working on and some basic information about those projects. We're definitely going to be needing another sheet where we're gonna store all the milestones. In my case, we're gonna have a list of milestones, of course, that is going to be attached to the projects. If you don't already, milestones is basically like a different, like of course, milestones or a different sort of progress that major progress that we've hit during the project. So that's going to be a list of things. Whenever you're talking about a list of things attributed to an object, we need to create a different sheet in Glide. So essentially, what happens is every single sheet in Google Sheets is like a is a different screen or is a different entity. Milestones is a list of things, okay? However, it's going to be a part of the project. It's not going to have a dedicated screen. If you want, you can do that, but however, it's going to be a part of the project's entity. So on the projects, we're gonna have, of course, the first thing we're gonna need is the first row is all the fields that is there in this entity. So project title, um, we're gonna have the budget or probably the price of the project that is discussed, and we're also gonna be needing the client email, which is going to be the main thing that we're going to be using to, get the get the I mean the, get this project visible on the client's dashboard on the application. We're also going to be needing the freelancers or whatever you want to call it email. This is if you're running this company, this should be like your company email or whatever, because this is going to be the only person who's going to be able to add entries to the project. Okay, client will not, like, anybody of this email section will not be able to even edit any of these sections from the project. We're not going to make the client like be able to edit anything, but they're just going to be able to see things. Now, because there's going to be two different functionalities, you can keep this in the two different applications, or you can augment it the same thing. I recommend keeping it in two different applications, however it goes. Again, these two things are not going to be visible on actually thing, but we're going to be needing these fields to show and sort of hide certain things. Okay, moving along. We may also be needing perhaps deliverables, which is what are the kinds of things that we're expecting. Like, for example, are they expecting an image, or are they expecting a set of documents like a Word document or whatever? We can probably put them under, like, we can also have another sheet. We're gonna have miscellaneous or like other. Now we're not gonna show any of these. The reason we have this is, let's say we want to have a drop down, we want to like give it a set of options, but we need to type in like inside a set of inside a set of columns. So if you want to have a drop down, you need to have another sheet dedicated for that. In my case, let's have those options. Okay, so we have deliverables, and then probably we're gonna have milestones, definitely. And then, like I said before, milestones are going to be attached to, well, this here. So in the milestones, we're going to be saying project attached, or say project reference. What this means is that this milestone will have a description. In my case, so milestone description. I'm gonna like make this, give it some space. Milestone description, probably a preview image, like probably in the case of in my case, because I develop apps and stuff like that, probably I will show him a screenshot of what's completed this milestone. If you probably want to have, you can also have video URL, probably download URL. If you leave this field empty, it will not show the button. So you can just add as many fields as you want to, probably, and then you can maybe think about it. I made these things bold, but you don't really need to. So I'm gonna make all of these bold. And as far as the other, so we're gonna first say project reference. So which project does this milestone belong to? So on the milestones, we need to attach this like milestones into this. So we're gonna say first is equal to. We're gonna first type in the name of the sheet here, which is in this case is called milestones. Again, this milestone is actually the name of the actual field. This one, this is referring to the name of the sheet, and then we need to type in colon, and then we need to type in the name of the column where we're using to identify this project. So basically, for example, in this case here, it's project reference. So this project reference needs to come after the colon. So like colon here. Now, if it's only a single entry, like if there's only one milestone, then you can just leave it like this. But like I said, milestones can be multiple entries, so you need to say colon multiple like this. Okay, so that way it's a list of milestones and not a single item. So that's probably one thing I want to have, and probably I'm going to have a preview image or an icon, and I'm going to also have a if you want, you can keep this we're also going to type in balance payment. Remain like balance payment is how much amount is yet to be paid, and we're also going to have people involved. If you want, you can also keep this. Okay, so So yeah, so we're gonna like if you want you can add this, but actually this should be another reference to another sheet where you're gonna be storing all the employees in your company, so you can start like pointing out who and who. Um, However, for now, I just add this, let's see that later. Okay, so we're gonna have milestones, and then we're probably gonna save it like this, and then for other again, coming to the other part, deliverables, because they can type in PDF, PSD, and all that, but I think it's better off we give them a set of options instead of like giving them a plain field. So let's say PSD or images. The other option is image files, probably over there. Video files, iOS project files, Android project files, uh, web projects, as I web project files or whatever. Um, Probably going to be some executable OS executable files, probably all the things that people might use a freelancer for. If you want to have other set of options, again, this is for drop down because, well, if you want to have a set of drop downs, will ask you where are all the possible options. So instead of other, you can call this as options, like so that we can choose this for all the options. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new app from the Glide apps. Again, I logged inside to my account, so now it says Client Management. That's the name of my Google Sheets. I'll click on Select. Although there are three sheets, I only want to display one, which is the projects. Let's go to navigation and disable milestones and options. The only thing we need is the projects. Let's go ahead and let's change the icon, although it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna call this archive for now. Okay. So, screens now, first of all, I'll change the list to something like, actually in the client management, we may also have another section called meetings. So this will be very simple to the events feature, like that we have last time, except it will be, um, we will have a link to open the video conferencing. So let's go ahead and change that to like compact list. So we don't have any items here yet, so let's go ahead and add an item. So project, of course, as you can see here, like all the fields are just text input, so which is not what we want. So first of all, the preview is an image picker. So let's go ahead and change that to preview image or icon. That should be a image. So let's go ahead and drag that in to put on the top. And again, deliverables is a set of drop down, which is actually a choice. So that's going to come from, well, we're going to change the options here to options and object columns, image files, I guess. Oh, wait, let's go ahead and add these options to something like deliverables. Okay, deliverables. Okay, so let's go and reload this sheet here. Let's go back to let's go up to the deliverables is over here. Oh, it didn't add the options. Let's go to choice, then change the option sheet to options. Option called deliverables. So if I go down to for project title, it's actually going to be deliverables. So let's go do left on that. I'm gonna put this right the top here. And the client email and freelancer's email, we don't really need the input for that. I think we only need the input for client's email actually. So freelancer's email is the person who's actually adding this list. So the person is going to be current user's email address. We're going to save that onto the freelancer's email because this is the person who's creating the email. So whoever is the person who's logged in. So for that, we need to first make this user be available only if you log in. So for that, you need to go and select sign in public with email. Now for this, what will happen is the user nobody will be able to use this app unless they log in. So these are all the fields that we have at the moment. We don't need to add milestones here. Of course, it doesn't even show up here because milestone is actually a reference to another sheet. So I guess we have all the fields here that we need. Balance payment, people involved. People involved is actually not a text field. So for now, I guess we can add more fields if you want to. but I guess the title of the project just got missing. So let's go ahead and add a text field here. It's project title. Yeah. So as you can see here, we have all the fields that we need. Let's go ahead and before I add any projects, uh, so this video is brought to you by Zero Code. So if you're looking to build a dynamic website for your business or for yourself, you can hire these wonderful guys at Zero Code who have a lot of experience with developing applications using Bubble, or you can buy one of their premium quality templates, and which will take a lot of time to actually develop. So if you are interested, go check out the link in the description. It also helps this channel. So okay, let's go ahead and add a project here. Let's call this client management, um, and I'm gonna say the balance budget or price is it's gonna be something like around $120,000, which is a lot of money. Again, deliverables as you can see here. It's going to be a web project file, so that's what the client is going to give me. So in this case, the client email is going to be something like Brian at email.com as usual. Balance payment, since this is the beginning, it's going to be like 100,000. Let's say he paid $20,000, like $20,000 in advance. So I guess we paid 10,000. Let's add one more zero. That becomes $100,000. So let's go and click on add. Oh, we forgot to add the image there. If you want, you can add the image. So, oh, I forgot to add the image. So let's go ahead and we'll go back to this place here, the screens. Allow editing. Let's go ahead and click on edit. Let's add an image here. So we have this image here, and then let's go ahead and click on done once it's done. Just so it looks a little better when we're like showing it. So let's click on done. Okay, so instead of showing up like a text, as you can see here, the preview image is like a basic text. Instead of that, let's show up the image. Actually, you can, of course, you can add an image component, but a better thing is, if you can see over here, this is actually the summary component. So you can just say image is going to be preview image icon. So it shows up something like this. Okay. So as you can see here, compact list, you can of course display this something like tiles like this, or you can show something like a list, which is probably whichever suits you best. Okay. Calendar, we don't have any events in this case, so it's going to be like this. So columns, gallery, which doesn't fit our use case. It's going to be maps, which doesn't again fit our use case. Details, only one item, so it's going to be list now. Let's go ahead with, I guess, compact list, which is a much, no, I guess list. Yeah, this is much better. And we're also going to enable filter data by user. So that's going to be like who is going to be able to access this list, and how are you going to format the emails. Well, the primary thing is we're going to be only viewing the items that matches. Now, this is a preview as, so it's going to say, okay, Brian at email.com. Now, if the person is logged in, like whosoever's client is Brian at email.com, show those projects. So this project has the client email as Brian at email.com. If you notice, the freelancer email has already been copied because I'm already logged into my Glide account with my Gmail, so it takes that as the person who's logged in. However, yeah, so we added that. Now let's go ahead and format this because it looks a little boring here. So you can of course, for description, again we didn't add description, right? So that's a little bit of a problem. So let's go ahead and add a description here. So you can start adding what the project is about and who the project is for. So you can start adding like personas. You can start adding things like you know whatever things that go on in your user UX journey. So things like, for example, uh, user research. I mean, there's so many things. I'll just stop with this. So description, again, you can add that. So um, I'm going to be like disabling the edit button, because if I allow editing, then what will happen is the client will be able to edit the project. He'll be able to change how much balance payment is remaining. So I think we forgot to show how much of balance payment. That's all. That's enough, right? You don't need to show how much of Okay, this is showing how much the payment, like how much this project costs, how much is the amount that's remaining. You can, of course, what I thought was if we had the progress bar, we can also show how much of this project is complete, like 66%, 36%. So you can show a progress bar. That would be a lot cool, right? So actually, just before I started this video, I was just checking that out, and unfortunately, we couldn't get that. So as you can see here, we actually have a inline list, and we call that as a project reference. It's basically coming from the milestones, and it's already a list, but we don't have any milestones. So let's go ahead and add a button that allows me to add a milestone. Um, Now, this milestone, like this thing where the user will be able to add milestones, this will be only available for uh, for freelancer, not for the client. Like if you want, you can also add a section where the client can add his own ideas, which also will do something. Let's go to add data, and then let's go ahead and add data. Let's go to action, click on form, and then we're gonna say add a milestone. So this is going to be for the freelancer once he completes like one half of the project. So he's going. Oh, by the way, on milestone you can also have a field where you're gonna say each milestone costs like again $10,000 or $20,000. So you need to pay this to in order to access this content or whatever. So that's going to be adding a milestone, and we're going to change. Oh, project reference again. Project reference, you shouldn't ask the user to type in the name of the project because that's what the project reference is, because we need to match that. Instead, we're going to click on the plus, and we're going to go down here. As you can see here, this is coming from the project's entity or the project screen, right? So we have access to the project title. So the project title is going to be with the field with which we're going to store that onto the project reference. So now, whichever field matches that, then we'll be able to like see them. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. So let's say, for example, we have a project reference here. So let's add a milestone description like first alpha, and then of course preview image is not a text input; it's going to be a image picker. So let's call this preview image, and then let's go back here, milestone description. And then the columns just got removed. Again, let's go to project title, project reference. Okay. So video URL, download URL. If they want, they can add it. Let's add a milestone description like first alpha, and then let's add a preview image. I don't know what this image has to do with this milestone, but just for the sake of showing you guys. So this is the false milestone. They can also add a YouTube video URL to show the client, okay, well, this is how much we completed. So we're going to add a milestone, but as you can see, we can't see the milestone on this project. What is going on? Well, what's going on is if we go check it out or take it here, uh, it does say that we're on the meetings, not on the meetings. If we go to the milestones, you can see that it's stored, and the name of the project is stored over here, but we don't store it over here. Alright, so that's what we want to do, is that we want to save this. If you copy this and paste this over here, like no, not there, not here, what this will do is if I refresh or reload the screen, you will see the milestones. And that's because what it's checking is, if we're saying in this column, this like look for milestones in the in the project reference column of the milestones sheet. If you find client management, just take that value and add it to this milestones list. So that's what is happening over here. So on the milestones, you can of course map the preview image to, let's say, on the project reference, add the image as the preview image, and you can definitely like go back to inline list and change the image to a preview image, and it adds the first milestone there. So they can add. Now if you add as many milestones as you want to inside this project, it will actually show up. And the reason for that is because, well, there's no problem in saving the milestones because we're saving the project reference title from the project screen. But if it doesn't, if this value is not copied over here, it will not work. So next time you add a project, you need to copy that this side, and then onwards, whatever milestones they add, it will work fine. Okay, so that's going to be the milestones. But now the problem is this: Okay, so we whatever. Now you can copy the same thing onto, let's say you have milestones. You can do pretty much the same thing for ideas. So if we have something like priorities, now just like milestones, instead of we have preview image, your video URL, and download URL, you can probably like create another one like this. Okay, like duplicate, and I'm gonna call this ideas. And for this project reference, instead of the milestone description, I'll call this as the idea description. And I will also, I'll remove the first column, like the data here. So I'll select these two columns, delete all of them. I don't need the video URL or the download URL. Maybe preview image, like some sample thing, and also probably I want to also have priority. So if it's something important, very not so important, just check it out or something like priorities. So priorities, I'll add this as a drop down instead of as a plain text. Priorities. So I'll have like urgent, um, good to have, probably good to have, or urgent, um, bonus. And if you have any more priorities, you can just do it. Again, I misspelled priorities. Priorities. I guess I've spelled it right. Doesn't really matter. Nobody's gonna check this out. So we're going to go back and let's add. Oh, go back here and let's go ahead and add an idea screen here to projects. So let's go ahead and copy the same milestones and paste it over here. And instead of milestones, I will say ideas is equal to ideas. Uh, Instead of milestones, just replace it with ideas because that's the name of my sheet and that's the name of my column. And I'm just gonna copy the name of the project title over here. It has to be the same thing, and from now on, if I had any idea, it will start saving them. So let's check it out. So if I reload this sheet here, let's add another idea or to-do list or whatever. Let's add another button here. To Oh, we cleared out all the milestones, is it? Oh, okay, we did a mistake here, and basically what we did is let's go redo. Um, the the mistake we did is we needed to let's take this copy of milestones. Let's rename this to milestones. Okay, I think what I did is I renamed the existing milestones to ideas and start editing that. But thankfully, I duplicated the milestone sheet. Okay, that's okay. Now reload those, and you'll find your old milestones here. Uh, where are they? Oh, they just got removed. Okay, let's go add those inline list. Let's add the inline list for milestones. And I'm going to put that right. Okay, right below I'll add a milestone. And let's go ahead another button here, or form button, like a direct thing. So that's going to be for add an idea, and I'm gonna go back here, click on this, and when I click on add an idea, I want to show ideas sheet. Again, project reference, I don't need to ask the user to type in that. I can take it from the form sheet. And again, preview image, if I add the preview image, you know what will happen is let me remove this and add a image picker and make that to preview image. If I go back, that old thing that I added just got removed. So let's go ahead and priority again, it's not that. So let's go ahead and add another choice thing. That's going to come from the other sheet. So it's going to be a choice. Again, column, no, options sheet is going to come from options. Options column is priorities. So this is going to be for the priority section. So if I click on priority, it's going to ask, okay, if it's urgent, whatever is the value you're going to type in, and then that will save. But the project reference is going to come from the title of the project because that's what is used to identify which project this is. So now let's go ahead and add an idea. So I'm going to say, okay, well, add a ideas list to the app. So if you want, you can show a screenshot. I can say maybe good to have. So I'm gonna click on submit. So if I add that, oh, we forgot to have to show that list, right? So we need to have another inline list. Like typically that gets added automatically, but sometimes you need to add those. And by default, as you can see here, it gets added. And you can of course have a search section inside of that, if you want to. But yeah, so you can of course change this to like my project ideas. Inside this project you can show something like this instead of showing milestones or ideas, whatever. So as you can see here, like as inline list, let's change this to from milestones to project milestones. So these are all the milestones, these are the ideas, this is how much he has to pay. This is like a perfect, this is like a perfect way to sort of see or communicate with a freelancer. He can have a perfect transparency on what is to be done. There's one more thing that's missing here, is that it's a really big chaos here. Now, as you can see, who will be able to send? Now, the way it works is something like this. If I click on plus, I'm a freelancer, so I want to share my project with that guy. So I will enter all this basic information. I will enter his email, and if he logs into this app with his email, he'll be able to see his project here. And I don't want him to add the milestone. I want only myself to add the milestone. So if you want to do that, I would highly recommend you to like disable this form button for these guys. Like let's remove the form. Like I think the ideas is okay, but let's remove this. What is this one? Oh, item milestone. Let's remove this one here. So he won't be able to add milestone, just see the milestones, but for ideas he can add ideas. So let's say like that. If you want to contact the freelancer instead of like showing the email address, you can also of course have an email button, or I can. Oh, no. Well, let's go ahead and add a button that actually pretty much the action is send email to the freelancer. So the client, this is for the client, right? So it's going to be like um, contact freelancer. So it's going to be like contact freelancer. So I'm going to put that Y on the top, and I'm going to disable showing that. So this is the client. This is me, Brian at email.com. So if I want to contact my freelancer, I can contact him by email, or you can probably enter his phone number as well if you want to. If you want to show the people involved, it shouldn't be basic text. It should actually be a list of people, just like how I did for milestones. Need to add those people. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's possible by entering on the form as of right now. Oops. That's gonna open up my email app. Oh crap. All right, so I'm gonna delete that. Like, sorry, close this up. Okay. Cool. So let's go ahead and create. This is the client application. Let's go ahead and hide that. Apologies for the weird behavior. I'm gonna hide the idea screen there. If everything looks cool, you can of course change the look of this. I think I prefer the the plain dark, like pure black screen theme. So if you like anything else, you can of course change that to like dark and probably add that the tint if you want. If this looks cool for you, you can go ahead with this. But let's go ahead and create another app using the very same sheet. The only difference this time, or you can just duplicate it. I guess you can just duplicate this. This one is going to be for okay, like hold on a second, and yeah, that's it. Just duplicate that, and the only difference is that it's going to, well, you wanna go down here, and the email filter. This one is going to be freelancer email. So what this does is this is for the freelancers, right? So this one is going to be for me to be able to add clients. So click on the plus here. I will be able to send emails now. Actually, on the client version, let's change this to like the name of this app to not copy of client management. I'm gonna say client management freelancer version. Okay, So this is what I would suggest people to do. You can of course have like two different, screens on the same app and do that, but I don't recommend doing that. I would recommend you guys to keep it two different screens. Now you can add ideas. Not only can you add ideas, but also can you be able to add a milestone. So let's go ahead and add. Oops, let's go back here. I believe this is the freelancer version, right? Uh, this is this is the client version. Let's rename this to client version. Apologies for the background noise, and let's change the email to ryan@email.com because that's the email data that I have. Okay, as you can see here, we have the add an idea, but we don't have the button for. This is a client version. Let's go back to the freelancer version here, which is this one, I guess. Again, I really get confused which one is which. Oh yeah, now we're back to the freelancer version. So now I don't really need a button to contact freelancer, which is myself. I need a button to contact my client. So let's go ahead and add an email here, which is going to. This is of course will be another option, but I think it's better if we add a button instead. I'll add a button, send an email to the client email this time. Okay, client email. And so it's going to be not client email, it's going to be email client. Okay, so I'm going to put this right on top, and I'm going to remove this. I'm going to be able to even call the client if I have his phone number, and because these are both of these apps are connected to the same Google Sheets, any changes made from here will also be affected there. Except one thing is, I in the client version I don't have the milestones adding version. So now let's go ahead and add the button where I can add. I'm gonna change this to form, and I'm going to click on. So freelancers email. I'm gonna say add a milestone. So if I click on add a milestone, let's go ahead and put that right on top of the milestone sheet. So now you can add a milestone. If I click on add, this is going to be adding on to the milestones. Now project reference, as you can see before, let's go ahead and add that as a project title. That's going to be saved on the project reference. Again, milestone description, this is going to be a preview image. Okay, a preview image or something, whatever you want to call it. Video URL, down the URL. So if I can add a milestone, that milestone will be added here onto the client management. Of course, as you can see here, the milestone is showing the actual name of the milestone below and the name of the project above, but that's not what we want. What we want is, well, let's go back to the project reference. The milestone, let's change the title to the milestone description and the details to the project reference. Now it looks a little, now this makes sense. And like, what is the name of the milestone? What's the difference? I need to like look at that properly, right? So I can add a milestone here. If you want to keep this down and keep that in the top, you can do that. But yeah, you can also add a video. As you can see here, we also have a video URL, but we don't really have the component. So you can click on and add in a video from YouTube, and that will be coming from the video URL. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and add in a video and see if that works fine. Um, I'm gonna add one of these. This is gonna come from the How to Train Your Dragon series. I'm gonna copy the URL. I hope this video doesn't play and kind of violate my copyright things. So let's copy that and then paste that onto this milestone. I believe it's this one. Let's add that to all the videos. So let's go ahead and reload this sheet here. If I go back to client here, and I hope I have saved it properly. Why is it not showing up? Okay. This is not showing up the video. It's like really not in the proper format. Let's go and check the video. Oh, it's a list. I forgot. Okay, it needs to be just the. It shouldn't be the whole. You can add a playlist. You can add a full playlist. You can only add a single video. So it's ideal to copy it like this, and then paste it here. So if you go back and reload this sheet now, go back and open this video. I'm sorry, open this project milestone up. Let's reload this sheet again. Um, it's a freelancer version, right? Still, let's go back here. Let's click on. Let's change the same thing back here. Title is supposed to be the milestone description. Project reference. Open this up. And video URL, instead of showing like this, let's go ahead and close this up and add it as a video from video URL. And as you can see there, the video is showing up. This is going to be a much better way to show instead of, why isn't that showing up here? Like, that's a problem. Yeah, so basically you can add videos like that. Now, you can add as many lists as you want to. Like, I have milestones, I have ideas. One of the other things you can do is, this is a list, but you can also add a terms and agreement sheet, contracts that other people can sign. Okay, that is also a potential feature. Now, for example, like in this case, I said multiple. There can be multiple contracts. Now that can be a different thing attached to the project title. So the other person, if he accepts this thing, you can add a switch on the other side. Like you say, you can add another sheet here called contracts. Okay, duplicate this and call this contracts, and then you can probably have your the name of the contract, and then of course the project reference, um, and then you probably are also going to save the contract description, which is the actual contract content. Okay, and you're also going to say accepted or not accepted. So if it's going to be accepted, it's going to show, okay, well, the person is accepted. You can probably add a switch, or we're going to have another option called, uh, probably going to have another column here called um, decision, and then decision, say agree or disagree. Or you can say, and keep this as an, add a section there where you can actually type in that. So that's it, guys. I'll stop with this, but again, you guys can go ahead and extend this project in a multitude of ways. You can, because it's a freelancer, again, you can also allow editing, because only the freelancer can edit the project description, let's say in this case. But yeah, but this is what I think will is gonna help my thing, my workflow. But again, maybe not the best way, but I'm definitely going to refine this. But again, this is a very rudimentary version of this, but you guys can go check out a new website that I just created to help all you creators out there to share your ideas, your creative ideas on how to, like, to build projects and help other people out and build on creative projects like this. And I'm really curious to see how to extend this tutorial and this project forward and build your own thing. And if you have any questions or if you have any other ideas, please be sure to leave your ideas and your concepts and your projects there, so that you can inspire other people out there on creatorschool.com. And if you have any questions, again, also you can leave your comments. You can leave your questions in the comment section below. Subscribe to this channel for more content like this, and I shall see you guys in another project video very soon.